Welcome back to the series named Improve Your Chess, where I take random games between a certain rating category and analyze their mistakes so that you don't do them in your game. Today's rating category is between 700 to 800, so we are moving up the rating ladder. So white opens with e4, black responds with the French defense e6, and here white plays knight c3. Now this is not a good move. The main move is to play d4, keep your pawns in the center, and then after d5 there are 4 variations. Either you go for e5, which is the advanced variation, e into d5, the exchange variation, and then there's knight c3 and knight d2. But knight c3 first is not a good move because now this knight will be out of place, let's say after d5, pawn takes, and now this pawn is coming to d4. If you play d4, then black has a very active position here. But black doesn't take advantage of this and plays d6. Blocking his pieces, and none of the bishops look happy. They are being blocked by both e6 and d6 pawns. And here white again can play d4, but I don't think he's interested with that idea. He plays g3 and he blocks his light square bishop. His idea is good to develop his dark square bishop, but d4 was also doing the same job. Knight f6, knight f3, good development of pieces, and g6. Okay, so black has made a plan for this dark square bishop, and maybe he will do the same thing for the light square bishop also. So let's see what happens. e5 by white, not a good move. It activates black's pieces after d into e5. Here, as you can see, there's a lot of activity now. Into e5, black plays bishop to b4. So he activates his bishop, but now this is not a good move because now you have already made space for the bishop. Now if you move your bishop to another diagonal, then these squares become weak and it will be easy to target for this bishop. White plays bishop to d2, so he doesn't want double pawns. So a good move. Bishop into c3. Now this is not good. You're helping white bishop to become active, and now you can see these dark squares are looking weak, and castles here will be very dangerous as they can be queen d2 ideas and queen h6, and once this knight is moved, let's say g4, then this bishop and queen are targeting g7. I know it's a very long thought process, but basically what will happen is this queen and bishop will try to deliver a checkmate on g7. Okay, so let's see what he does. Oh, he castles, and now the engine might not show a big advantage for white, but this will be tough to defend for black once this attack becomes strong. Here white just develops his pieces, which is good. You want to castle now, and then you see about your attack. Knight c6, and here black has created double pawns. He looks fine with it, but it is not good. These double pawns at this point, here they are fine because let's say if you just play bishop to e2, this is fine because now these pawns like form a cube and it will be tough to attack on this. While in this case here, after being to c6, here these pawns are isolated and no one can defend it. You always have to keep a piece and these will be easy to attack. Like how white did in the game, bishop to f3, he attacks the pawn. Black plays bishop to b7, he defends it. Castles, white is developing his pieces, he's doing a good job. Queen d2 would have been good and then you would go for the attack. But at this level it is fine, you can castle, it's a safe move, and then you can play queen d2. Here black plays c5 and here they show that they are only 700 rated. Till now, they did some positional mistakes but they did not blunder any piece, and here black just gives a free bishop and white sees it and takes bishop into b7. Rook to b8, and here white plays queen to f3, counter attacking the knight and will make use of the dark squares here. Knight to d5, white exchanges the pieces. Now that you are a piece up, you just want to take it to a simple endgame and win from there. E into d5, and here now black is threatening to play d4 and lock your bishop. So bishop f6 will be a good move. Yes, good move. Bishop to f6. Your queen d6 is a good move. Not only does it stop queen to f4, it also attacks the bishop here. So you cannot even go to e3 and then h6 because your bishop is hanging. But black plays queen to d7, and here he makes it simple for white to play queen to f4. Still again you can play queen to c6 or e6 or maybe even d6 and attack the bishop. And now again he cannot go to h6, but you have wasted one move of going to d7. In the game, white didn't go for queen f4, he played b3, and this was an unnecessary move. He's already defending the pawn. Maybe he just wants to be safe because maybe he thought black could play d4 and then attack the pawn. So it's fine, b3, you are already a piece up. Rook fe8, bishop c3. Now this was an unnecessary move. Now black plays d4 and here he plays bishop to d2. Okay, now here white has an idea of going to h6 and then queen f6. So he might have thought that f6 the bishop was getting attacked, so why not move it to h6 and then take queen to f6. Okay, good play. Black plays queen to e6 and here white plays rook a1. So he attacks the queen and controls the file. Queen f5, black offers a queen trade and white happily takes it as he is a piece up and he wants to go to the endgame. The rooks also get traded and now this should be a simple win for white. King g7, bishop a5, white also collects a pawn here and here he attacks the c5 and d4 pawns. Black's king is in time to defend it, but as you're a bishop up, it doesn't matter whether he defended it or not. Your king is just going to enter in and capture the rest of the pawns, while this king is still going to defend his pawns. King f1, h5, king e2, h4, h3, f4 and f3. Now this is not so good for white. Although he's completely winning, this makes it harder for white's king to enter. Look at black's pawns, they completely block the king from entering in. If white has to enter in, he will have to play king d2 and c3 and still black is not going to capture that pawn. So it will be tough. You're still winning, but here king f3 would have been more easier, and while this king would have run to defend this pawn, you would capture these pawns. After f3, black goes king to c6 as he has nothing much to do. He has to just defend his pawns. Here white plays bishop to b8 and now he's just going to collect these pawns and win the game. Black tries to capture these pawns and looks for some hope in this a pawn. But white plays a4 check, king b4 and white gives no chance for black, not even a little bit for black to come in and capture the pawns. And here white goes to capture the pawns and black resigns here because white is going to take the h4 pawn and then just push the h pawn. So in this game there were a lot of positional mistakes. Here both players did not know opening theory and I think black simply played e6. I don't think he had any idea what was the French defense also. And then later on white also didn't put his pawns in the center, and here black had made a plan to put his bishop on g7 but did not follow it. White did a mistake of e5 and there was inaccuracies after inaccuracies, and later on white was the one who was maintaining pressure on the dark squares, and then after the double pawns white was also maintaining pressure on the queen side. So black could not hold it anymore and gave a piece in that process, and later on white converted it easily and won the game. So I hope you learned something from this game. Subscribe for more episodes coming up in this series. This is Edrick Vaz. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video.